Hey, this is Matt. Once again, welcome back to the videos of the paid request, this time for Tomas. Thank you so much for that. And for those interested in requesting any type of videos or topics, reactions, commentaries, what have you, feel free to send it either directly to my PayPal or join my Patreon. Both links are down below in the info box. And he wanted me to talk about The Curse of Bridge Hollow, which I had never heard of, but came out on Netflix in 2022. Which maybe that makes sense because I don't have Netflix, so... But no, I didn't hear about this film. I didn't know what this was. But it's a Marlon Wayans film where his wife, played by Kelly Rowland from Destiny's Child. Yes, the same Kelly Rowland from Freddy vs. Jason. Hey, Freddy, you're not even scary. That girl. And then she turns and Jason fucks her shit up. So the two of them and their young daughter, they move from the city to this town. Starts out with the song, "Hit the road, Jack, don't you come back no more." When they get in this town, is very, very heavy in Halloween and Halloween decorations. One of their neighbors is Rob Riggle, which he's been in a lot of stuff. He was in the 21 Jump Street movie. He's been in a lot of other movies. I didn't realize that he used to be a Marine. He was part of the United States Marine Corps. I'm like, oh, okay. I don't know, just, you learn something new every day. The daughter and the dad have a bit of friction with each other because the dad's much more science heavy, while the daughter just wants to have fun. So there's a bit of friction there. And one thing leads to another. She hears about the legend of Jack, Stingy Jack, and what happened in the past. How the soul has been trapped in his lantern. One thing leads to another. She finds it. It gets lit. The spirit is out, and the spirit will make any Halloween decoration come alive. And the movie kind of plays out like the Goosebumps movie and these other type of films where the magic is out or something is out and the town gets terrorized, and so the father and daughter have to work together. The father has to get over his skeptic nature in order to save the day. Now, I didn't mind the film. I thought it was, for the most part, harmless. At first, I was really leery, because one of the first lines is, "Oh, we're going to this town. Smells like apples and a hint of white privilege." Okay, right then and there, you're like, oh my fucking god, really? Imagine if I wrote a movie, and one of my first fucking lines was, "Smells like oranges and a hint of black privilege." Imagine what fucking people would say to me if I did that. It's a shitty line. It didn't need to be in there. And Marlon Wayans a lot of times will say, "That crazy white lady, that crazy..." Imagine if I said, "That crazy black man, that crazy Asian guy." I mean... You know what? That's fine. Go ahead and say that. But then, don't get mad if I say that too. I think that's the thing. It's like, I'm fine if you say that, but... the door swings both ways. If you just say crazy white lady, I just say crazy white lady or crazy black guy or crazy black lady or something. Just don't get pissed and butthurt about it. But he didn't need the white person. It's like it's a bad start. But I will say, thankfully, the movie doesn't go further into that, and I appreciate that. I do like the Halloween decorations. I don't know who designed all this stuff. I thought they looked really neat. That's in front of a lot of these people's lawns. I thought the little girl did fine. Maybe she's not the best child actress, but I thought she was more than capable, commendable. And Marlon Wayans is one of those guys that... there's not a lot of films he's done I loved, but I do like him. I mean, I don't mind Steer Movie 1 and 2, and some of the other movies he's been in. Requiem for a Dream is great. But then you have a lot of stuff. Oh, God, I'm trying to remember what the hell they were called now. I would say that this is more of a decent Marlon Wayans film than some of his past couple movies, I'll say that. A Haunted House 2, some of the other stuff he's done. Because it does play familiar, again, like the Goosebumps movie and other stuff, but I do like the Halloween decorations coming to life. I do like that aspect. I don't mind the kids that the daughter meets. She meets these three other kids, Jamie, Ramona, and Mario, who are part of the Paranormal Society. I didn't mind them. I kind of wish we had showcased more of those kids. I thought they worked fairly decent together. They didn't feel annoying or irritating or political or any of the shit. And once in a while, Marlon Wayans had a line that made me chuckle. For example, the daughter has a Ouija board on her tablet. She's moving. As she explains to her dad, and Marlon Wayans says, "What did the ghost? What's the ghost supposed to do? Get a Wi-Fi password?" I didn't mind that line. I did think that was funny. I wish there was more of those witty barbs throughout it, but sadly, not so much. But then the candle was lit. Things start coming alive. This bat decoration, all this stuff. The daughter's like, "Oh shit, Marlon Wayans, watch your language." "Oh shit." And that's where things go on. Like this 2D cat comes alive. I thought that was kind of an interesting look to it. Riggle has these Walking Dead decorations. The zombies come alive. Red glowing eyes. Him and Marlon Wayans' daughter fight them off. I think at times they push the skepticism, the skeptic nature of Marlon Wayans a bit too far. It's like, come on, even Dana Stoley would have believed shit was going on by this point. So I thought at times they pushed that angle a bit too far. Sometimes, not all the jokes work. Like they go to the great-granddaughter of this woman that might have known what was going on, and Marlon Wayans offers her a Milky Way in order to get her to talk. And at one point she accidentally spits her teeth out, puts it back in with some drool, and Marlon's like, "Ooh, gross." But like I said, I like Marlon Wayans. He's a little bit more contained in this, meaning he's not so zany and crazy like he is in other movies. I don't mind his relationship with the daughter. I thought they worked fairly decent together. Kelly Rowland wasn't bad either. Like I said, the other kids, when they feature in it, they're not bad. The film, the look of the film doesn't look too cheap. The effects for a Netflix film are fine. I've seen much, much worse. I don't know. I like this more than the Goosebumps movie. I just got a bit more invested into maybe the whole Halloween decoration motif was more interesting to me than the Goosebumps characters. And Marlon Wayans, like Jack Black in Goosebumps, is not featured as much. Marlon Wayans is definitely the star of the film, him and the daughter, so he's featured much more prominently. Maybe it also depends how much you're a fan of Marlon Wayans. I am a fan. It's just, again, a lot of movies he does it isn't great. And I'm not going to call this like a great movie, but I thought it was, decent film. Someone said, like, if you have one or two scenes that stand out, that could make a world of difference. I did like the scene where they're in the nursing home, the retirement home, and all the decoration has spiders, and they all come alive. Now, I understand why here they had to be CGI because there's so many of them. But I like that he's a science teacher. He makes all these chemicals and he's doing all this stuff here to burn all the spiders. And then there's this big giant spider that attacks him and the daughter helps him out. I didn't mind that scene. I thought it was pretty fun. It's very rare to see Marlon Wayans be an action hero. Other than that G.I. Joe movie he was in. But I like this more than that one. But the scene that kind of be iffy on it, 50-50, but there's one scene that really put it over the top to me going, okay, I like the film, is you hear that, spoiler alert, you hear that the reason he hates Halloween so much, he's so much of a skeptic, is because when he was a kid, someone did a dare on him to go into a place and he saw all these skeletons, but that he was made to believe that, it was all in his mind. So he's a stickler for that. And so he's also afraid of skeletons. So they're in this place where the decorations were these skeletons with football uniforms on and helmets. And the daughter gives her like a pep talk. My girl. You take the girl out of Brooklyn, but you can't take Brooklyn out of the girl. So he goes in and he says a line like, "Hey, do you know what was the line? Pop quiz. You know what the chainsaw was originally called?" And he turns, called the Bone Cutter. And he stirs it up, and AC/DC's Highway to Hell starts playing. Angels just goes in and he just kicks ass against all these skeleton football wearing skeletons with a chainsaw. So there's Marlon Wayans being an action hero. It reminded me of the fun bit like with Brendan Fraser against the mummies at the end of The Mummy, the 1999 film. So there's Marlon Wayans like cutting this skeleton in half, this skeleton from the groin up top, this from the top in half on the bottom, this on the side, like this. Then he like takes the skeleton's arms and starts using them as nunchucks. I wish more of the movie was like this. Like, that was really cool. And I love that scene. And scenes like that, it was my favorite scene in the movie. It's AC/DC. I'm a sucker for when you put AC/DC in the movie, it's a sweet spot for me. And then you have Marlon Wayans kicking ass with... You have someone kicking ass with a chainsaw. You have your lead hero being a badass. Yeah, AC/DC music. Those are like 3 sweet spots for me. So that helps a lot, and I love that scene. And I love that he's using the skeleton arms as nunchucks. He's doing his Bruce Lee. Wah, wah, wah. It's goofy, but I did laugh at it, I will say. I much enjoyed that scene. Like I said, I enjoyed the spiders scene earlier, and I also enjoyed the scene where these killer clowns come alive. I like the look of the clowns, and they're kind of in this maze. That's part of like the school thing, this maze, and Marlon Wayans trying to find them. Then my way was shot, like there's some skyward shots to show where these characters are at different points. Although I think that scene could have been utilized even more. Even more suspense, more thrills of, what's around each corner. I think they could have been, a bit more could have been done to elevate the suspense and elevate. But it is a kids' film, although a kids' film a lot more harmless than some of the shit I've seen lately with kids' films. And then ultimately, they had to figure out what to do. The spell got burnt up, so they go to the grave of this woman, do a seance. Marlon Wayans gets possessed. Purpose tells him what to say. The townsfolk are going to be besieged by the decorations, while Marlon Wayans realizes that it's his wife that the thing wants as a spirit. Something about taking a spirit, and then they'll make Halloween every year. They explain it. I just didn't care on that portion. The Halloween decoration coming alive was more interesting to me than that part. Stingy Jad has this big jack-o'-lantern on fire. Marlon Wayans has to believe in it, says the lines, says what the spell, casts it out, saves the day. And they hint, like they find more pieces in the buried room. They hint at sequels. I doubt this film's going to get any, because this film came and went, and no fucks were given by the majority of people. But I didn't mind it. Now, the thing with movies like this, though, there's a catch-22 where they can't have a lot of destruction and folks die, because then you would go, well, it's the little girl's fault. Granted, it was an accident, but you'd go, oh, it's the little girl's fault. But then there's not much danger when no one gets hurt. Like, a film that did that fairly well was Gremlins. like, I mean, you could say it's Billy's fault for not paying attention, but at the same time, it's not his fault because, like, it's Corey Feldman who fucked up with the water, and then these other Mogwai screwed over the clock and tricked his ass, and just how it came to be. And you do tell that some people were, if not killed, at least very much hurt, and some of them were killed. That one bitch that went out the fucking window, and you see her legs up there. So when you get a sense of danger, you get a sense of the destruction and chaos going on, it makes the stakes rise up a bit more. Here, there's not a whole lot of the town destruction, and it seems like everybody is safe for the entire movie, so thus you don't get really a sense of danger from the villains, a sense of any stakes being raised. Now, whether that's because of to keep it a kids' film and keep it the rating, to play it safe, however the case may be, or again, if you do that, then it would be the girl's fault and whatever, and will that lose any sympathy for the character? And it's this catch-22, damned if you do, damned if you don't thing. So, how you fix it, I don't know. Whether it's someone, they find it, and then someone else does it, because they have an evil plan, and then but these two have to somehow, they're the first witnesses, and they're the ones that have to, or maybe it's someone who this daughter knew became a friend, and that person is the first victim, so she's very adamant about it. I don't know, I mean, I don't know how you would have to fix it, but overall, I enjoyed it for what it was. Not all, like I said, not all the jokes worked. But like I said, the usage of the Halloween decorations, I thought was a nice touch, nice motif. Marlon Wayans, I didn't mind in the film. Like I said, I thought he was more eased down compared to other movies. Love the scene with him kicking skeleton ass with a chainsaw and AC/DC music playing. That was definitely a winner. Liked the bit with him fighting the spiders. The daughter was fine. Her friends, they were fine. There wasn't a lot of fart piss jokes or any of that shit going on, thankfully. Like I said, it's one of those movies that it was harmless. It was a decent time waster at the very least. It was a decent, kind of fun time waster that I didn't mind. I've seen much, much worse movies. So overall, I didn't mind it. Did not mind it. Not perfect, far from perfect, but that was okay. That was an okay film. So with that said, thanks for watching. We'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.